As a professional athlete, it's important to get the proper nutrients to perform at a high level. That's why players like LeBron James spend millions of dollars on their bodies each year. But what exactly do NBA stars eat to stay on top? Michael Jordan is often regarded as the greatest player to ever touch a basketball. And while many just write it off as him having superior athletic genetics, Jordan himself even admitted that his diet played a huge part in his success. One of the things he did differently from most was heavily relying on carbs. In fact, 30% of his food consisted of carbs, 20% of fats, and 10% of protein. Jordan wanted to be limber and extremely energetic on the basketball court. And this way of dieting contributed to just that. He ate 5 to 6 meals a day, and with his work ethic, that was necessary. His diet was designed to keep his blood sugar stable, while also boosting his metabolism and avoiding weight gain. His former trainer Tim Grover explained it best. "This helps regulate the blood sugar or insulin level in the body," Grover said. "If he were to eat a big breakfast and then not have any food again until after practice, say around 3 p.m., then his insulin and energy levels would rise in the morning for a while but crash in the afternoon. It could affect his mood along with his activity level." Yeah, that sounds very healthy, but honestly, we can't say the same about Dwight Howard. He had one of the worst diets in the NBA. He absolutely craved candy. Dr. Shanahan, the nutritionist for the Los Angeles Lakers, called Dwight a bona fide sugar addict. He always had sugary candy and food around him at all times. Even in his home, there was candy in his game bag, under his bed. You name it, he's storing candy there. He didn't only consume a large number of sugary products. It was also known that before every game, he would eat 2 double cheeseburgers from McDonald's. 1 large fry, 1 small fry, a strawberry chocolate milkshake, and a large Coke. Wow, if you ask me, he was living the perfect life. Unsurprisingly, this particular diet had a negative impact on him as a player. It heavily altered his recovery time from back surgery, which would be arguably the main injury responsible for his huge decline in performance on the basketball court. Not only that, but his junk food craving almost led him to having diabetes. He constantly felt tingling in his legs and fingers, but he soon cleaned up his diet entirely by adding things like fish and chicken, kale and vegetable juice. Yuck, I prefer McDonald's. Joel Embiid's career started on the downside in terms of nutrition. His college coach at Kansas even referred to Embiid as the least mature eater. It was said he would save plates of brownies and other sweet treats and take them home and devour them and nothing else. And when he joined the NBA, nothing really changed. In 2015, the 76ers training staff would put healthy foods in Joel's fridge because they were worried about what he was eating on a daily basis. That didn't help at all. They had to throw away the food nearly every week because he wasn't eating it. Instead, Embiid was ordering room service, which obviously was nothing but junk food. He commonly ate chicken fingers and hot dogs after games, and it's even said that he had never eaten vegetables before 2018. Fast forward to now, he's improved his diet and is now taking nutrition a lot more seriously. That's resulted in him not only putting up great numbers on the court, but staying healthy in the process. Former player Shaquille O'Neal's eating habits nearly killed him. You see, in early 2020, Shaq struggled with his mental state and had a difficult time due to the tragic passing of his sister, his best friend and former teammate Kobe Bryant, and 28 close friends. Yeah, you heard that right. So, just like many of us would after experiencing such tragedy, Shaq decided to turn to the one thing that brought him the most comfort: emotional eating. He ate anything from sugary cookies and cakes to sandwiches. And after a few months of eating this way, he started to put on some extra pounds. I mean, a lot of extra pounds. He eventually ended up weighing over 415 pounds, which was the heaviest the Diesel has ever been. So he was in the absolute worst spot in his life, and nothing could help until he did something out of the ordinary.
What sparked you to change your diet?
So I did something I've never did before. I went to a doctor, and the doctor used that 3-letter word that you never want to hear. Said, "Do you want to die?" I said, "No, I don't want to die." I said, you gotta change some things up."
Yeah, that was enough for him to completely turn around his eating habits. He lost over 50 pounds, and he even grew a six-pack for the first time in 15 years. So it's safe to say we will have the Big Diesel around for many years to come. Kawhi Leonard normally fasts through breakfast, and it's said that that's because he simply just doesn't have time to eat it. When he does, he consumes an egg white omelet and some bell peppers along with some citrus fruit. Back during his time with the Spurs, they would have nutrition specialists travel with them everywhere they went, and the Claw definitely took advantage of that. NBA teams travel a lot and stay in lots of hotels and need advice on what to eat and what not to eat. He usually stays away from beef and pork and rather eats foods like grilled chicken, fish, and some vegetables. During his time in college, he talked about different things when it came to eating meals from then and now. You know, there's definitely a big difference from college into the league. Being in college, you don't have the money to even get organic foods or eat only organic vegetables, organic drinks. You just really go with what you have in front of you. And the college I was at, we were a mid-major, so we really didn't have all the perks and stuff that other teams might have. We ended up eating a lot of fast food. Obviously, the NBA is different. This is a professional job, and they want you to play at your highest level. So, I've learned a ton being with the Spurs just about basic nutrition. Kawhi also mentioned that when he was a rookie, his mom moved to San Antonio just so we could eat home-cooked meals. After he was drafted by the Spurs is when he really locked in on eating healthy. Before games, he usually doesn't eat, but if he just has to eat something, his go-to is a protein bar. Like many NBA players, Kawhi doesn't really like to play with a full stomach. Did you know that Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter ever, has a shocking addiction? You see, when he was just a kid, he and his father had an unbreakable bond, and they would often have father-son movie nights, and this was where his father introduced him to something he loves till this day: popcorn.
I have a huge popcorn addiction, I call it. There are 29 arenas in the NBA, so I have a ranking of every arena based on the freshness, the saltiness, the butterness, and the crunch of the popcorn.
Damn, so now we all know what it takes to become an all-time great player? Just eat tons of popcorn, and you'll be shooting from 40 feet in no time. Steph's popcorn addiction still doesn't top John Wall's because Wall's diet was so bad it nearly lost him his foot. You see, back in 2010 when he played for the Kentucky Wildcats, he not only dominated on the court, but he dominated at the vending machine also. He loved junk food. The only time he really ate something healthy is when his mom came into town and fixed him a home-cooked meal. Even after all that unhealthy sugar, he still managed to get picked first in the NBA draft by the Washington Wizards. Here's where things got worse. When reporters came to film Wall's new house, he didn't show any flashy cars or fancy appliances. He instead flexed his pantry, which looked like something out of a children's dream. It was filled with all sorts of snacks. Things were still great for the young Wall. Even with his diet, he won Rookie of the Year and looked like a rising superstar. Until a plethora of leg and lower body injuries sent his entire career downhill. He had to change something and do it fast. He knew he had to change his eating habits if he ever wanted a chance to be a star again. So for breakfast, he ate a smoothie bowl, and for dinner, he would eat lamb chops, steak, and some vegetables. And this diet change would prove to be beneficial because, although he never became a star, he would suit up for multiple teams and get another shot.